She says that woman must write about herself. She has to write about herself. And when she writes about herself, this will bring a transformation in history, a great transformation. And she says that this transformation is inseparable at two levels. First, she says individually, by writing herself, woman will return to the body which has been more than confiscated from her, which has been turned into the uncanny stranger on display, the ailing and dead figure which so often turns out to be the nasty companion, the cause and location of inhibitions. Censor the body and you censor breath and speech at the same time. So one thing that will happen when women would start writing about themselves, about their bodies, they would be able to liberate their bodies. And she says, as I said earlier also, that she considered this as the greatest crime committed by man against woman, that they were made to hate themselves. They were made Medusas. They were told that, they are bad, they are black, they are evil, they cannot be loved, and they cannot love themselves, and they didn't. And she says, censor the body, so you censor both breath and speech. If you put control over someone's body, you control their speeches. You control their breath also, their lives also, and that is the truth of the whole world. So woman has to liberate her body. She has to get control of her body. If she gets control, she would be able to speak. And if she speaks, the second important thing that will happen to her would be when she starts speaking, she will announce herself in history. Many feminists, for that matter, have condoled this element that female has been absent in history. But by speaking, by writing about themselves, about their bodies, in Ecriture Feminine, through Ecriture Feminine, says Helen Cixous, that females will announce themselves on the world stage. And they would make an entry into the history, a shattering entry. For example, she says, writing will mark the new beginning of women, where they will be speakers, initiators, and creators of new political process. An act that will also be marked by women seizing the occasion to speak, hence her shattering entry into the history, which has always been based on her suppression, to write and thus to forge for herself the anti-logos weapon, to become at will the taker and initiator of her own right in every symbolic system and in every political process. That is second benefit that females will get. They will be the initiators. They will break into the history. They will be the speakers, those who speak about themselves, about their rights. Up to this time, they have not spoken, or they have not been allowed to speak. They have been so little confident about themselves that they did not even raise voice for their rights. Now is the time that this new woman would speak about herself, would liberate herself from all the clutches of the past, of the clutches of the society, and redefine the future for her. And if she is successful in doing that, she will change the course of human history. She will change everything that comes to the forefront. So the main focus of this work, The Laugh of the Medusa, is in getting females out of the phallocentered society, phallocentric society, from this structured society, liberate them. And that liberation, according to Helen Cixous, will come only through writing. If females write, and when they write, they should write about themselves, about their bodies. When they write about their bodies, they'll be more confident about themselves. They will realize that they are not Medusa. Even if they are Medusa, Medusa is not ugly. Look into her eyes and you will not become stone. She says she is beautiful. She can laugh. She can smile. She is not ugly. This is the idea that females have to get. And this idea can also be had when she would speak. when she would initiate, when she would burst into the history. That is one important, rather the most important aspect of this essay, Helen Cixous. And there is another thing that she talks in this essay, and that is she makes use of dark continent. She says that men have always said that females are like dark continent, like African continent, and which cannot be explored. Therefore, there is no need of exploration. Helen Cixous says through this work that we are not dark continents, we are not unexplorable, we have not been explored because men never thought of exploring this dark continent, or this continent rather, which is not dark. She says that I have visited this continent and it's not dark. I have enjoyed that visit of mine. Now it's the duty of the females to explore this unexplored continent. And the stigma which is associated with it, that it is unexplorable, it is not unexplorable. It is not dark. But who will take or initiate the first step to explore this dark continent? This is to be taken by the females. And this will only be done when females write. Let them write about this dark continent. Let them write about this imperfect body. Let them write about themselves and introduce this to the world by telling them, see, we are not the dark continents. See, we are not the unexplorables. We have explored. And look, we are not Medusa. We are not ugly. And above all, we are not imperfect. We do not lack anything. She says that when this dark continent would be explored, this would be an answer to the likes of Freud and Lacan too. For they have been telling repeatedly that female lacks, female lacks, female lacks. Tell them that we do not lack. But in return, says Helen Cixous, the phallocentric system lacks. When Ecriture Feminine will arrive, when woman writing would come, this would announce to the world that the lack is not in females but in the phallocentric system. And that lack in phallocentric system is about the courage, is about the fear. Man has always lacked that courage to give a proper space to the female. But females, when they will write through Ecriture Feminine, they'll not stop men writing. Let men write about men, and we will write about women. We will write about ourselves. We do not fear if males write about themselves. Let them write. We will write in harmony with them, not the way they did in past so many years. History is full of the crimes committed by them. They have written and they have stopped us to write. We will write. We will show the courage and we will tell them that Ecriture Feminine lacks nothing. Females lack nothing. They are more courageous. And if there is a lack at all, it is in the phallocentric system. It is in the men. They lack the courage. And there are very few people, rather few men in this world who have that courage. She would name, for example, Jean Genet, about whom he says that he is the one who understands the females, who is not fearful about it, who supports it. And Jean Genet, for that matter, did help or support Helen Cixous in bringing up the first women center in Europe, which I have discussed in the other lecture when I was dealing with Helen Cixous. So that was another important aspect of this essay, The Laugh of the Medusa, where she says that woman has been considered as a dark continent which is unexplorable, but the fact of the matter is that woman is not a dark continent. She is not unexplorable. The fact is that she is unexplored. She has not been explored because nobody ever took care of her. She was, made a Medusa, made a dark continent, made fragile, made weak, made inferior. By whom? By the language, by the structure, by the system, which was phallocentric. But once liberated, you will understand, you will know that females are not dark continents. Females are not imperfect creatures. Females are not Medusa. That was the law of the Medusa. It's around 20 pages article, but the major focus of this is woman writing, liberation of woman from phallocentric system, from phallogocentric system, and to reshape and redefine the woman psychologically, to make them psychologically sound and strong, to make them more confident about themselves, to ask them, to tell them to write about themselves, because writing about themselves is the only way with which we can liberate the new woman. And it's time that we liberate the new woman. And she would be liberated only through writing, by writing, because by writing she would announce herself on the grand stage. She would be a great writer. She would be an equal there, which has been occupied by man for a great time, by saying that great writing belongs to great men. Our great writers can only be great men. Now is the time to turn the tables over. Now is the time to write, and to write about ourselves. Now, as I said, this manifesto of writing about men is not the first or the last in feminism. Only after 14-15 years, you will have Helen Cixous talking about woman as a writer. That is all we have at your academy. For today, we dealt with the law of Medusa, we dealt with the contents of the law of Medusa, we dealt with who was Medusa, and what is her significance, or how is she presented in the Greek mythology. I hope that this lecture was helpful for you and you were able to understand the law of the Medusa by Helen Cixous. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to visit your academy's homepage. You can go to the playlist section, and there you can have many lectures on theory. We have almost covered all the theories and criticism. You can have all of those lectures in one playlist under literary theory and criticism section. You can have a lot of lectures on your academy about poetry, about novel, about drama, about other things. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to share, like, comment, and subscribe. For more interesting stuff, keep watching your academy.